There it is. That's Mileena. That's Mileena.
Oh my god, she's finally here, guys.
Mileena is back. Mileena is back. Wow.
Mileena! Mileena fans, I hope you're happy.
She's got combos, mix-ups, and style. The true Condom of Outworld sure is a blast to play. How's it going, everyone? My name is True Underdog, and today I'll be showing you the best Mileena variation for Kombat League. And in fact, this variation will also work great for tournaments as well. And afterwards, I'll be showing a second variation that is also quite good. Now, it's a bit riskier and not quite as solid, but arguably more fun overall. So please post your favorite custom variations in the comment section down below, and without any further ado, let's get started. Alright, so first up we have Playtime, and I feel like Playtime is an ability that you want in every single custom variation, mainly for the Half-Blood change. So normally that overhead actually knocks down, but with this ability it no longer does. And that means two big things right away. So for starters, the damage on your bread and butter combos just goes up, not just for starting combos, but for ending them as well. As you can see, even a basic combo like that is getting 30%. And the next great thing is that because it's 3 hits, it's now much easier to hit confirm. Normally you gotta do the first 2 hits, react, and then do a ball right away, or if it's blocked you gotta do size or go for the overhead, all that stuff, but now you have 3 hits to see if it lands and then go for your ball roll. And then for the cherry on top, some characters can't even punish this 3rd hit because it's -8 on block. So for example, Devora, she can't punish this. Her standing 1 is 8 frames. In fact, even Mileena can't punish this. The character you're fighting has to have a 7 frame standing 1, otherwise they cannot punish you with the full combo. And even if they do have a 7 frame jab, you can just end with the size and then amplify, and you're 100% safe against everybody on the roster. And in fact, because this move has some pushback, some characters can't even punish this at -14. Don't get me wrong, there are characters who can, but you'd be surprised how many characters can't punish this, or just how many players don't know how to punish it, even if their character can. So in my honest opinion, just this string alone is enough reason to have Playtime as an ability in every one of your custom variations. And of course, you can also amplify that final hit and get a restand, and you're at +20, and you can walk forward a little bit and guarantee that forward 2 every single time. That's also a nice thing to have, but it's not even top 3 in terms of all the great things this string can do. And then we have Riding Dirty. So this string has the unblockable throw at the end. At a casual low level, this is going to eat people's lunch. A lot of players aren't going to know how to deal with this thing for a long time. And even if the opponent does know how to avoid it by neutral crouching or jumping, you can just switch out the ball roll for that final hit and catch them every time for a full combo. So even at a competitive level, this move has a mind game to it. The opponent always has to guess between the throw and the ball roll. And then finally we have Losing Control. Now this string, not too big of a deal. It's a fun way to end some of the longer combos because that final hit is almost always guaranteed, but outside of that, not a super big deal. Honestly, 4-2-3 ain't that great. It's good for punishing some throws or some projectiles that have really long recovery, but getting that crushing blow is pretty difficult. But I do like having that final hit because it's a nice option select. I'll usually hold down 3, and then even if I don't get the crushing blow, I'll press the throw button just to make sure I get that final hit anyway. As you can see, the Playtime ability is one of the best things Mileena has going for her, so I recommend it in every custom variation. And next up, let's talk about Rolling Thunder. I believe this ability is also a must for most variations. Sometimes you don't need it, but it's really great for a lot of reasons. Let's talk about why. For starters, you get a damage buff to all of your combos right away, especially if you want to end your combos with this thing. You're getting some really decent damage. Once again, nearly 30% every time you touch the opponent. And then on top of that, Rolling Thunder lets your ball roll go full screen. Normally, Mileena cannot do that. She barely even goes half screen, but now with this ability, she can travel all the way across the screen. And at first, that might not seem like a big deal, but you'd be surprised how many characters have terrible recovery on their projectiles, and this move lets you punish them every single time. And just like Playtime, this ability has a cherry on top. If you release the button, you can hop at any point in time, and this actually lets you avoid certain low attacks and even low hitting projectiles. You can just hop right over them and still get your combo going. Now, of course, it's not the easiest thing to do, especially on reaction. It's a bit more of a read, but it is so satisfying when you pull it off, and you can only do it if you have this ability equipped. So just trust me, if you want the ultimate Mileena variation, then Rolling Thunder is a great ability to have. And then last but not least, we have Stabby Scotch. Now this move is essential for an obvious reason. It's your armor break move, so if you want to stop breakaway or you want to interrupt fatal blows, then you have to have this move in your arsenal. And not to mention, it's also the best way to end your combos once you learn how to time it correctly. You gotta do your combos a bit later, but check this out. We're now getting almost 32% 10% for every combo. So not only can you break armor, but it's also great for getting a bit more damage. Now unfortunately, as far as command grabs go, it's not the best. You can tick throw it after the down 1 and after every other crouching attack, but it doesn't tick throw off of any of your strings. I really wish it did, but from what I've tested, it does not cancel from anything on block except for your crouching attacks. But even so, you can always dash forward and do it, and that's still a bit sneaky. Right in the neutral, just fly in and catch them, spin the bar, get some decent damage. And I almost forgot to mention, if you catch them rolling, that also gives you the crushing blow, and as a result, any player that knows that is not going to want to roll against Mileena, so essentially you're taking away one of their options. And in a nutshell, that's why I think this is the best custom variation you can use for Kombat League and other competitive modes. First up, you have Playtime for all the different mix-up options, and you also have the best hit confirms and the best block strings too, and overall your combos do more damage as well. And Rolling Thunder is also great for that. You get more damage, but you're also much better at punishing things from far away, including projectiles, and that's a big deal because a lot of players think low psi is best at that. And don't get me wrong, low psi is good, but honestly the most you get is a crushing blow once per match, whereas with Rolling Thunder you can punish with a full combo instead every single time, so it's no question which move is better for punishing projectiles. And then finally we have Stabby Scotch just to break armor and make the opponent not want to do wake up roll, and it's also a really damaging way to end combos. But now let's talk about the next variation, which I also think is very strong in competitive play. So for this variation we also have Playtime, because once again it's so essential. I can't see any good reason to leave out that option. It's just so darn good in so many different ways. But next up, let's talk about Vanish. So the input is kind of weird and you don't want to do it in neutral most of the time. Instead, you want to use this thing to end combos. You launch the opponent, you do it, you're invisible, and right now you're at the perfect distance. Most players cannot reach you from here, and as a result you can whiff punish, you can go for a jump in, you can do a low psi, all that good stuff. Ending your combo with Vanish opens up so many mix-up opportunities. For me personally, I love just doing forward 4-3 immediately after I turn invisible because she does hop over some low attacks and her hurtbox is kinda tough to hit in general. And on top of that, once again, it's 3 hits, so it's very easy to hit confirm. So for me, the Vanish setup looks a little bit like this. I get my hit, I end the combo, go invisible, they whiff something big, I get my combo, and a bit of extra damage to finish things off. And as you can see, the invisibility is already worn off, but that's not a big deal. I already got my mix up, and that's what I wanted. And then if you're fighting somebody more patient, that's when the fun really begins, because Mileena has a lot of overheads in her string. So there's an overhead, here's an overhead, and we even have the unblockable from Playtime. So when you're invisible, trust me, that's a really annoying mix-up to get hit by, because how on earth would you know she's even going for that? You can't even see the first 2 hits, so you have no idea the throw is coming. But the overheads are what it's all about, because in this variation, I rock the low psi. So now instead of mid overhead, it's mid into low. Instead of high overhead, it's now high low. And while I'm doing all of these mix-ups, I am completely invisible. I'm telling you, it's impossible for the opponent to block. They have to guess, and if they guess correctly, then they're just a fortune teller. You just gotta trust me on this one. It's really, really tough to block these mix-ups, because even when she's not invincible, these mix-ups are still hard to block, especially online. I imagine locally it's gonna be a bit easier to fuzzy guard, but you can even do overheads and then the low, by the way. That's still a mix-up, because remember, the opponent has no idea what string you're actually doing. They can't see you. So they're not just guessing the 50-50, they're guessing literally everything you're doing. And those mix-ups are what this variation is all about, because how are you blocking this when I'm invisible? There's no way you're not going to. So before I turn visible again, I've got at least 2, maybe even 3 mix-ups on you, because you have no idea what's coming, and those low psis are pretty good on hit, so the opponent's going to be scared every time you land them. And don't forget, Mileena also has some safe mix-ups as well. This back 2 got some pretty good range, it hits overhead, and it's safe on block at -6, so barely not punishable. And then for a low option, you have back 3-4. It knocks down the opponent and it's -6 on block, so once again, barely not punishable. So when you go invisible, if you want to stay a bit more safe, these overhead and low options are completely safe on block and still provide a decent mix-up. And that's about it for variation 2. I don't think it's quite as solid as the first variation, but if you're really creative with your mix-ups and you vanish at all the right times, that can be a really good strategy for Mileena, and she's one of the few characters who can turn invisible that easily, because thankfully it only costs 1 defensive bar, so she can just keep turning invisible the entire match. And don't get me wrong, Mileena does have some other moves that are fun, like her scythe that goes across the ground and then comes down. That's very interesting, but I don't see it working very well at a competitive level, and then some attacks like her air teleport and air scythe feel almost useless. And that's why I think the variations I just showed you are the best for competitive play and Kombat League. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What abilities do you think are the best for Kombat League? And then while you're down there, make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the video. It really does help my channel out a ton. And then finish that combo by suplexing that subscribe button. That way you never miss a future video. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.